Okay, and if we're good, I think we will begin on audio levels. If you guys hear any weird things with audio, just let me know and we can adjust it on the fly.
No worries.
They got audio now? Okay. And we are going to be starting right now. So this is a pretty fast-paced beat 'em up. It's only got like 6 levels in typical beat 'em up fashion. And it's pretty fast-paced. It's sort of boss rushy. It's got some great music. If it's a little too low, just let me know. I'll turn it up for you guys. Ooh, hold on, forgot to turn my analog on. There we go. In terms of speed tech, it's pretty much kill the enemies as fast as possible. There's a little bit of tech when it comes to like movement. So here I want to try and attack right after that wall goes down, and it kind of speeds up the process of moving onto the next area. I'm constantly running and doing this slide attack, which is the fastest way to kill enemies because it does have a 2-hit combo if something doesn't die in 1 hit. But typically they die in 1 hit on this difficulty. I'm going to grab an extra 1 up here for safety and then make sure I fall here carefully to grab this fire sword. It is really easy to miss that. Now the thing about this game is it's actually quite broken. You're going to notice as I get more and more new weapons in this game, the hitbox is going to get more ridiculous. And by the end of the game, I'm going to be hitting enemies and bosses where I'm nowhere near standing next to them. So it's pretty funny to see later on.
You win by intimidation.
Exactly. Or bad programming. I don't know how they... When you guys see what I'm going to be doing later on, it's going to be kind of questionable how this got past QA testing. Fire Sword is the least egregious of the broken swords.
Yay, running and sliding.
I will admit, though, the music in this first level is pretty bare bones. It gets better, especially for the boss music. So aerial enemies, typically you need to jump and hit them. Later in the game, the weapons get so busted that I can just hit them from standing on the ground. And it's one of the main reasons why I avoid the best weapon in the game, damage-wise. But I'll get to that a little bit later, and why that is. I'm going to use my summon here to take this tree out. I could just normal attack it, but that takes a bit, and I'm going to take quite a bit of damage because of it. So if you notice on the top of the screen there, I have a magic bar, which I just drained. And using a summon attack like that will pretty much one-hit kill anything. Then I'm going to come up here. This is quite important. There are 2 different paths here to take. It's not the kind of beat 'em up where it's always just one linear path. Hold on, let me focus on this part here because it's pretty easy to fall and not get this weapon. Platforming in beat 'em ups, you know you're in for a good time when you're platforming in a beat 'em up. Okay. So now we got the Ice Sword, which has the best effect and sound effect in the game. Super satisfying. It never gets old. Unfortunately, I don't use it for too long. I get rid of it on the next level. But just that ice sound of them exploding and the cool particle effects.
I remember gaming in this era. It was good times.
Yeah, and this one's even obscure in Japan. Like, this is the kind of game where there's really no coverage on it that I've seen. Well, not wide coverage in terms of, like, articles, reviews, even gameplay. It is on Japanese PSN, however, on the PS3, so I get a little bit of love there. Alright, so this boss is really hard. I wonder if you can sense the sarcasm in my voice. So I'm just going to do a summon. Run up. First boss down. Doesn't even get a chance to act. Really cool looking red dragon, but yeah, that's over pretty fast. Like I said, summons are powerful.
I'm starting to think there might be a reason why there didn't get much coverage even in Japan.
Keep in mind, though, I am playing this on easy difficulty for the speed reasons. The bosses would take a little bit longer to take down on normal difficulty, but they're still really easy. Alrighty, so this This level is where things start getting quite annoying. Easily the most aggravating and annoying level in the game. But we'll get to that later. Also, pay attention to the names of the enemies in this game. So, come on, not running. So if you look in the top right corner of the screen as I'm hitting enemies, you're going to notice some really peculiar names. Such as the enemy that's called Bob. There he is, there's Bob. Okay, so I want to hit this guy and then immediately do a dash here, and kind of see how it pushes me a little bit further to the door there. The timing is pretty precise when it comes to the lunge attack after finishing a room. But you'll see it kind of slide me a little further than I would have been otherwise. Okay, so these Ganesh enemies, I actually want to not do the sliding attack against them like I did, because it requires an extra attack than otherwise to take them down. I want to do a normal combo, and then it kills them in one attack combo, rather than waiting for them to get back up. So just little things. I tried to find as many little time saves as I could playing this. Alright, so we had the option to go to the bottom door down there, but there is a very good reason. Come on. Come on, are you serious? Get up on the step. There we go. There's a really good reason to come up here, because I get the lightning sword, and that is the most busted weapon in this game. These guys here, the most annoying enemy to take out, I actually have only done it a couple of times. Defeating these guys without getting knocked down, as you can see, they are quite annoying in that regard. Haven't quite perfected how to take them out without getting knocked down.
Well, you get knocked down, but you get up again.
Exactly. Nice reference.
I try.
Yeah, I've only done it a few times where I kind of like slipped behind them before they had the ability to knock me down. Like that there, the only reason it didn't work is because he sort of like interrupted himself, so that one kind of worked. Anyway, yeah. We're getting into the two worst, well, coming up on one of the worst rooms in this game. And it is notorious for killing runs, but after this mini-boss first. Getting the lightning sword. Really cool effect there. Once again, another super hard boss. The Minotaur, as you see on the nameplate now. If I can get this correct. Nice, I got the slide. So that's the optimal slide there, so I place myself as close to the exit as possible. Cutting down maybe about a second or so off of the time that it would take me to travel. So, yeah, these are the annoying rooms if you can't tell. So I gotta try and dodge these lasers, and the perspective that I'm given does not help whatsoever. Things only get worse than the next room. So we got past that one. Okay, so within this room here is actually the Holy Sword, which is supposed to be the best weapon in the game. It actually kills the final boss very fast, but there's a reason that I will show later on why I do not pick it up, because the Lightning Sword just saves so much more time with its broken hitbox, because the Holy Sword does not have a broken hitbox. Okay, here's the really hard room, so let me focus through here. Wow, that is the second time, that's only the second time I've ever gotten through that room without getting knocked down.
Nice.
Good marathon luck there. My PB for this is the only run previously that had ever gotten through there without getting hit. Because the flying gargoyles tend to kind of stun lock you, and then the lasers combo you. That is not easy. Alright, so here's a great example of why this weapon is so broken. Notice how far away I am from Lars. Look at that. Look at that hit. It's a broken hitbox. Look at this. Okay? I am like 20 feet away from this guy. Well, maybe not that much in-game, but you get the idea. And this is why I choose the Lightning Sword over anything else. So the general idea is I usually don't want to hit him down. I kind of want to do like a combo, let him stand, and then do another light combo, let him stand, but sometimes he gets knocked down. Not much I can do about it. Also, one of the first times you actually get to appreciate the banger of a soundtrack for the boss music in this game. We'll see Lars again.
You're right about those hitboxes, though. It's like really bad stage fighting.
Exactly. Yeah. Here's one of the really cool looking bosses in this game. Cyclops guy with eyes on his chest.
Not creepy at all.
Nope. Yeah, that was actually really good. I didn't get knocked down. I'm gonna summon while he's off screen because it will damage him. And then he should be approaching back in, and hopefully I can get out of the way. Oh, I killed him. Wow. Wow, that was the optimal fight right there. Normally he charges back in and I have to hit him a few more times and he knocks me down, so that was really good. Apparently I got some really good combos off on him before he charged off screen. You're right, it is a centaur. You're right.
It's that broken sword. It's even more broken than you thought it was.
But did he have one eye on his head?
It looked like he had a skull for a head.
You're right. Alright, time for more annoying enemies. These enemies with the spears here tend to always hit me.
Ow.
Pick this up. Just a tiny bit of extra health. Your centaur hates it when he gets mistaken for a Cyclops, I know. Monster problems. You can see the annoyance that are the spear enemies, also known as Fighter B. Fighter B, we got Bob, we got Fighter B.
So who would Fighter A be?
That's a good question. Haven't seen one, to my knowledge, in this game.
Chad is saying that Fighter B must stand for Bob.
He fights for Bob.
Yes.
Okay, let's get this. Normally I don't... Ooh, that was a mistake. Okay, apparently we're not using Lightning Sword. I mistakenly picked up the Ice Sword, but that's okay. It's still almost as broken. And it has a cooler effect. I love the sound effect and death animation on this thing.
So that was actually completely intentional, everybody.
Mm-hmm. I did it for your enjoyment.
Mm-hmm.
Bosses do have different elemental weaknesses, however, so this may change up the pace at which I kill certain bosses with my summon abilities. But no big deal. One of the only rooms you're able to pass through in this game without getting stopped. It's like a godsend for a beat-em-up game. And I'm very curious to see how this weapon affects the next fight, because the next fight takes place in an ice cavern, and I'm using an ice sword. So this should be interesting.
You'll be fine. Everything's fine.
That's a normal sword there, but I'm gonna avoid the normal sword. And get the slide. Not quite. A little bit, halfway. Alrighty. It's time for Medusa. Or no, this is Echidna. So let's see how this goes. This might be the first one that gives me a little bit of trouble. Okay, let's see if this should one-shot. And if it doesn't, yeah. So the Ice Sword is going to cause problems because, well, we're fighting an Ice Echidna. The Lightning Sword there would have one shot with the summon, but no big deal. It only wastes a few seconds.
Well, as long as you can still win, that's really the important thing here.
Yeah, this is a very safe marathon run. There's really no chance of this dying unless I make huge mistakes. Yeah, so long to Knuckles' mother. Nice knowing you.
Aww. In chat, F for Knuckles' mother.
Yeah, the music in this game is... Wait until you hear the final boss music. The final boss music is like... Just get ready for it. It's super hype.
That background with the town looks like it's taken from Final Fantasy Tactics. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, you don't usually get to see the backgrounds in this game too much, except for the little pan shots that they give you in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll collect this. Oh, hold on a minute. I forget. I think there may be a backup here, actually, for the lightning sword. Let me double check on that.
Ooh.
Ah, it's the fire sword. That's even worse. Never mind. I'm pretty sure there's no more lightning swords to pick up. But no big deal, like I said. Not an issue. At least until I get to the last level and have to deal with the flying enemies that are going to be really a pain to take care of without the broken hitbox.
That is interesting as a design choice. They wouldn't have more lightning swords after having multiple fire and ice swords.
Yes, if you see any weird typos that are in this game, the English in this game is pretty funny. So yeah, this is not the 4th stage, this is the 4th stage. Without...
Well, you're venturing forth. As continuing.
One of the more annoying screens in this game, because this is one of the only places that has a rotating screen, so it's just kind of hard to see where enemies are spawning. And they're all spear throwers. Here's the last one. But it's always fun for me to show these kind of games off, especially games that I know that pretty much everybody in the stream has never seen before, because it's always exciting to see new stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, we got a little mini boss coming up here. This skeleton knight. Alright, let's summon this guy right away. Take out as much health as possible. Usually the lightning sword does a little bit more damage on that magic attack. Oh, he didn't block though. Wow, it's very rare. Normally he blocks attacks, but he did not that time.
He does seem to fall on the floor quite a bit, though.
Now, I just want to see how long it takes somebody in chat to kind of, you know, maybe these ghosts look a little familiar to you. I don't know. You let me know. You let me know.
I can't think where I'd seen them before.
No famous movies, perhaps, ringing any bells in chat?
No. Certainly nothing about, like, busting or anything like that.
Nothing about calling anybody? Yeah.
No.
Totally not inspired. Original creations by the developers, for sure.
No, they were inspired by Newtopia, but that's about it. As was basically everything.
Alrighty. Now, this is probably the most, what's the best way of saying it? The boss that I could potentially lose the most time on in the run. Because he has certain patterns that I have to be able to read and know when to summon at the right time. He's also the really cool-looking bad guy from the cover of the game. Because he disappears, so sometimes he reappears, and I need to know which phase he's going to stay on a little bit longer. Like this one, I know that he's going to stay on a little longer. Unfortunately, I get knocked down, so I didn't get as many hits in as I wanted. And this is the one I want to summon on. Because the previous one, as you saw, he disappeared immediately, so if I would have summoned there, it would have been for no reason.
Yeah, this battle looks like a bear.
There we go. Okay, not terrible. Yes, it's a very busy fighting arena for sure. Alright, so it's looking good. Still got all my lives. The only way I'd really lose lives is if I were to fall off a platform by mistake. So we got plenty of safety lives going into the final level. And I'm excited for everybody to see the final boss and also hear the music.
Yay!
Hell's Gate. Here we go. I gotta go a little slow on these platforming sections, though, because this is one of the only areas, as you can see, where I just completely missed the mark. Be a little more careful here. Turns out platforming in a beat-em-up is, not fun. Okay. Now here's where not having the lightning sword is gonna come back to bite me. Because these flying enemies, normally with the lightning sword, see what I'm doing right now? They will die no matter where they are when I'm doing the running slash on the ground, because the hitbox extends so high. Whereas now I've got to kind of jump to hit them, and it's a real pain. And the final boss also, this is going to be, I don't know if I've ever tested this. I probably did, but I don't remember what the result was. But my final boss strat actually kind of relies on the broken hitbox of the lightning sword. So I'm really hoping that the ice sword extends that high, otherwise it's going to get a little interesting. I'm going to have to try and do it the intended way.
That jumping off the screen into nothingness, it's a little disconcerting.
Yeah, they don't give you too much of a preview of what's coming up here. Is everything mixed properly? Yep. I mean, I'm using my setup that I normally use for my streams, and there's typically no audio sync issues, so hopefully it sounds good. Alright, Lars. We meet again. Unfortunately, I don't have the quite as broken weapon that I had before. I'll still try my best to cheese him out. Yeah, that would have normally hit me. This is actually a PlayStation 1 game. I'm playing it on a PS2. Slim PS2. Yeah, this is much slower with Ice Sword, unfortunately. That's why I tacked on a couple extra minutes to my estimate. Okay, I'm also not going to use my magic here because I do want that for the final boss, which comes up immediately after this.
So why does Lars want to fight you?
That's a good question, and I'm glad you brought it up, because as you have probably seen, I have not been skipping any cutscenes in this game. So the story is pretty much non-existent. So yeah, make it up yourselves. It's up for interpretation. Unless I'm sure the manual probably tells us something, and the splash screen at the beginning probably explains some stuff. But in terms of like in the middle of the game, you get nothing. He dies a really sad death though, so who knows?
I like to think that they're fighting over a toasted cheese sandwich, and it was actually a goose that stole it. So it's really a misunderstanding.
The honks in chat will be coming soon, I'm sure.
Oh yes. Can't stop the honk. Won't stop the honk.
Alrighty, here is Hell's Gate. I will be quiet as much as I can here to let you appreciate one of the greatest bangers in PS1 history. Also, I might have to improv here if my sword does not connect with what I'm about to do here. Normally I'm supposed to hit these crystals to open up the ability to attack this boss. So we will see what happens. Oh, well that's just fantastic. I learned today that the ice attack does not have a really wide AoE range, unlike lightning. Okay, that's okay. We'll be fine. And, unfortunately, as suspected, the ice sword does not reach as high as the lightning sword. And I have not done this boss fight as intended in pretty much since I started playing this game. So, let's see, this is going to be interesting. He gets real annoying. So now I'm going to have to break these crystals, and also do platforming. And you see why platforming is an issue in this. At least we got some good music to back it up, though. Okay, I'll just take that hit, that's fine. I might actually go for the slow but steady strat here of just waiting for him to pop down and hit him, but then he has the knockback. Okay, let's take out more of these crystals. Okay, be careful I don't get knocked down there. Wait for him to do his attack. Ooh, almost got knocked off. Be really careful here. And there it... Oh, still survived though. That was really close. Alright, I got my magic bar. Let's do some work. He will let me do some work. Okay, got most of his life bar up here. I might resort to, if I don't get hit here. Okay. Yeah, normally this fight would be over in about 30 seconds. So I gotta pull back. And try and get these hits off on him when he lowers himself, but as you can see, it's not the easiest thing, because he's just out of reach until right there, and we got him. That's GG. What was my estimate on this, by the way? 27?
Yes, your estimate is 27, so you still came in under estimate.
Nice. Despite that little hiccup.
So, GG's.
Hey, I guess the one good thing about missing the lightning sword by mistake is, get to hear the final boss music a little longer. Anyway, I am going to prepare for the next game, which is Dr. Hauser on the 3DO. It is the first ever fully 3D survival horror game made, so if that has piqued your attention, hang around for a little bit and we'll get that started.
And in the meantime, please stick around. I'm going to talk a little bit about why we're here, and feel free to toss in some donations. We still have plenty of incentives left up, so